It's a complex world of fiscal policy, isn't it? Particularly if you're the new Labour Chancellor. The introduction of stealth taxes, a go-to strategy by governments seeking to balance their books without drawing too much public attention. And the recent analysis suggests that home buyers in the UK could face a significant and immediate increase in their tax burden, particularly through changes in stamp duty, a tax levied on property purchases. And as the country braces for the autumn budget, the question of how these potential tax charges might affect both the housing market and the broader economy is becoming increasingly pertinent. As it stands, stamp duty tax, SDLT, applies to property purchases exceeding £250,000 in England and Northern Ireland. However, come March 2025, this threshold is set to be halved to £125,000, potentially doubling the tax bill for many home buyers. For instance, the tax on an average priced home in England could rise from 2,768 to 5,268 almost overnight. And this increase represents a significant financial burden, especially for first-time buyers who currently benefit from a higher threshold of £425,000, a limit that will also decrease to £300,000. The projected changes have sparked concern among financial experts and lenders, with Coventry Building Society being one of the most vocal critics. And Jonathan Stinton, the head of mortgage relations at the Society, warns that these changes could push many home buyers into deeper debt as they scramble to cover the increased tax. His call for reform is rooted in the belief that the government should avoid sudden, substantial tax hikes, which could destabilise the housing market and, by extension, the economy. But it's a sudden tax, which seems to be characteristic of the new Labour government. The VAT on schools, the sudden tax on home buying, and the potential increase in stamp duty is just one of many stealth taxes that the new Chancellor, Rachel Reeves, may be considering as part of her strategy to balance the nation's finances. And while such taxes offer a quick fix for government revenue, their long-term impact on the economy is detrimental. Higher taxes on property transactions could dampen the housing market, reduce mobility, potentially lead to a slowdown in property-related industries such as construction, renovation and real estate services at a time when we need property to be booming. And the timing of the tax is critical as well. The housing market is already under pressure from rising interest rates and inflation, which have made mortgages more expensive and household budgets tighter, and introducing a higher stamp duty at this juncture could exacerbate these issues, leading to reduced consumer spending and overall economic flagging. The housing market may not collapse, but it's not going to be encouraged by this. The argument for reforming stamp duty is not just about protecting home buyers, it's about ensuring that tax policy doesn't stifle economic activity. And during the stamp duty holiday in 2020 and 2021, home buyers benefited from a temporary tax relief, which, according to some analyses, didn't significantly diminish government revenue. In fact, the increased market activity during this period may have well compensated for the lower tax rates, suggesting that a more balanced approach could yield positive results for both the Treasury and the economy. And Reeves faces a critical decision in the upcoming autumn budget. While raising taxes might seem like a necessary measure to address the country's fiscal challenges, it's essential to consider the broader economic consequences. A sudden increase in stamp duty could lead to unintended negative effects, including reducing customer confidence and a sluggish housing market, which could in turn slow down economic recovery. So while stealth taxes like the proposed changes to stamp duty may provide a short-term solution for balancing the government's books, they carry significant risk for the housing market and the broader economy. And as we approach the autumn budget, it's crucial for policymakers to consider these impacts carefully, and reforming stamp duty in a way that supports home buyers without drastically increasing their financial burden could offer a more sustainable path forward, benefiting both the housing market and the economy as the whole. And so while we're thinking about general benefits to our country and the world in general, we should remember that today is the anniversary of the beginning of the original Kursk campaign, and maybe while clearly spending some time thinking about what's happening in Britain, we should think quite carefully about what's happening in Ukraine at the moment. I hope to be talking to some people in Ukraine later on today. In fact, I will be talking to some people in Ukraine later on today. I think starting very shortly, and I will try and bring you some news from the ground about what it feels like to be in Ukraine now, and what is happening, and so yes. Good morning, and if you're in the UK, great. If you're in Ukraine, all best wishes, and yeah, I hope all is well.